Hey guys, Ryan from Fairly Awesome Podcast here. Nate Bushin joining me, and we got Josh Bushing as well joining us. Woo! What we're going to be talking about is Titanfall Beta, which went open on Xbox One today. Not as you're seeing this, but as we're recording it, today it went open beta. So we took a look at it. Nate and I both went through the tutorial and played a couple of online matches, and highly anticipated. Josh hasn't played it yet, but this is perfect because what we want to do is have him sort of ask some questions that sort of sparks a little bit of description about how we, first impressions of the beta and what we think of this game's future, and does it have a place in first-person shooters going forward?
Sure.
So, Josh, do you have any immediate questions for us?
Well, my first thing is, how many different Titans are there?
It appears that there are 3.
Okay.
In the beta, I've only seen one with 3 different loadouts for
Yes.
it.
Okay.
So I believe the one is Atlas.
Yep.
The one that's in the beta. Which honestly, there's enough configuration to it that I think it's okay, even with just for a beta. I think it's okay with just the one Titan in there, because you get the sense of how they're gonna come into battle, and you see how the customization and how different types would do different things, because even the loadouts are vastly different.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, are those custom loadouts, or are those just pre-programmed loadouts?
They're pre-programmed, at least from what I've seen.
Gotcha.
I don't know if you can actually swap. We didn't spend a lot of time in the menu system. Can you swap guns out, or
you can't?
Okay.
They are pre-programmed loadouts, like you said, where your Titan has a chain gun instead of or one is quad rockets where you fire it and it's just 4 spinning rockets going, and another one is a 40 millimeter semi-automatic cannon.
Yes.
Okay. So
and it has kind of it's a little more of a almost DMR feel, right?
Yeah, there's a little bit of drop with it versus the chain gun is just low damage, but man, you can just hold that thing down.
Yep.
Now, what's interesting is there's trade-offs with the different loadouts.
Yes.
And even though you can't customize what's in it, say you like one loadout, but the weapon that it comes with is the chain gun, and you wish it had the quad cannon or the 40 millimeter cannon. If you use your Titan to kill another Titan, they drop their weapon. So there's a giant cannon just laying there on the ground.
Yep.
You can walk over to it and you can swap out for it.
Yeah.
So your Titan will drop his weapon, pick up the other one.
Much like kits in Battlefield and Call of Duty.
Right.
You can pick up the weapon
sense.
of the downed ally.
How balanced is it? With the infantry to the Titan?
So I was gonna say, funny enough, while I was playing, I unlocked a shotgun, which is a CQB loadout that you get, and so I saw a Titan, and I just ran right up to it and did a double jump, because you've got a jetpack in this game.
Right.
And so I just ran up, double jump, got right on its back, and opened up a circuitry and just started firing into it. I took it out in probably 20 seconds, less than, maybe 15.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I mean, while that was shocking to us, the Titan went down that quickly with a shotgun. He was stranded. Nobody else was around.
Yep.
So I think 20 seconds is a long time to sit there on top of a Titan, and if there were other actual players around, Titan or otherwise, you'd have been down.
Yeah, this is the kind of it's the kind of game that you'd not want to, if you're in a Titan, you don't want to be alone.
Right.
I guess is a good.
Yeah, you don't want to get your Titan stranded.
Yeah,
makes sense. But he wasn't actually down. You just downed his Titan. He ejected, right?
Yeah,
he did eject.
He did eject. Yeah, you they're when you take a Titan down, or when you get it to a critical stage where it's going to blow, it shows a little bar on your screen, and it's almost like nuclear, I guess is what it is,
it looked like a hazard.
And it has a little counter, and you can see it as a player shooting at the Titan, and the player in the cockpit that's in the Titan, you actually see this bar counting down as well, and you have time to eject. It gives you a little X warning that you need to double tap a bunch, or not double tap, but press repeatedly to pull the eject button and get out of the Titan in time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so the way
it's a quick time event, or you still have the opportunity to control the Titan?
You still can control as long as you want, but if you want
until that point,
up until it blows up.
Right. Well, when it gets critical damage, it's sort of it's gonna go nuclear, it's gonna go meltdown, or it's catching fire or something, right? So you've got a timer. right? And this thing it's gonna blow up when it hits, and if you're still in the Titan, you die.
Yeah.
But you have that much time to either try and inflict more damage, or if they hit you with more like rockets or more small arms fire,
Make
it's gonna
those quicker.
take bigger
Yeah,
chunks.
so
out
you got to
of
be
it.
careful.
So basically, once you get to that level, unless the other guy is almost dead, you better be ejecting.
Yeah, there is a perk, at least for one of the Titan loadout variation, where
Tank.
it's tank. It auto ejects you, and then every player has a cloak mode built in. I think it's every player.
It's everyone that we played.
That we
There's
played.
3 classes in there.
Okay.
Assault, Assassin, and CQB.
Cool.
And all 3 of them have cloak. The infantry running around and the weapons and whatnot feels very Crytek, like very Crisis.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
That's
it's
kinda cool.
very fast. The double jump mechanic where you can grab ledges and pull yourself up does feel like Crisis. It feels like they took right out of that book, a
Yeah.
page out of that book.
Crisis / Halo 4.
Yep.
On not as much boost. You don't get like you can't just sit there and levitate for a while with a rocket boost, but it does give you that little extra
Right.
double jump. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those 3 classes, and they all have different loadouts to them.
Yep.
But in the beta so far is we just played a couple of games each. Those 3 classes have unique weapons to them, and you can still, if you kill somebody, you can pick up their weapons as well.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. That's cool.
The one thing I've noticed that makes it stand out as a game is the quickness, I guess. I've never played a game that has that sort of multiplayer feel where it's like just frenetic all the time. It's like sort of like Unreal Tournament, I guess, is a good comparison. But it has a good feel. You're constantly in motion, and it keeps you in motion. Like, you could run along walls and jump from wall to wall, and I think like the way to win at that, if you're like facing a Titan, is if you're in the open as an infantry, he has a good chance of shooting you. But if you're like running along the wall and using cover, and you can keep that movement going and using more of that unanticipated, unanticipated movement where you're running along a wall and you're jumping between the walls and that kind of stuff, I think that will enable you to take down Titans.
Yeah, I think 2 or 3 infantry, 2 or 3 real players, because that's a distinction with this.
Yes.
Is that you have it's 6 on 6, so there's 12 players only, right?
And that's kind of cool, to be honest with you, because it's smaller.
Yeah, it is.
It's very squad-based combat.
Yep, and you rarely, actually, I found that you rarely see players as much as you think. I mean, you see Titans, but like, everybody has radar, and you see the map and the radar, but like you'll see red dots all around you. But a lot of those are like creeps from MOBAs, but they're just grunts.
I would say you see about 3 times as many creeps as you do players.
Yep.
Because the players are much more methodical about when they go out of cover and whatnot. So that doesn't mean that you're not seeing players. That just means that, like normal players, you're going to use cover and you're not just going to run across the street at random moments.
And they can get you too. Like I went down to some grunts and everything. I mean, they're not without their own offense. They're not just kind of.
Yeah, if you just
cannon
ignore their
fodder.
presence, they will kill you.
Yep.
The creep.
Now, what about like melee attacks? Because I know like with Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, you've got like knifing capabilities.
Yep.
To sneak up on somebody. What's
the melee attack is actually the snap neck
The Steven
maneuver,
Seagal.
the Steven Seagal vote Lieberman, and totally like vote Lieberman, and it just takes them down
Their head spins all
all the way around, completely around. I actually the first time I did the little tutorial mission, like I was they put you in this one section where you're taking down a bunch of these creeps or whatever they are. And the last one was running around. I couldn't find him, so I like jumped up on top of the building and I saw him come out. I just jumped down and immediately snapped his neck. I'm like, that's worse than knifing, because it's not like the take around and stab. It's like, and I wonder what it looks like on the camera if you actually see them like snap your head around or what.
I don't
know.
That's
It'll be interesting.
Huh.
I can say that on the graphics front, it is really impressive. I would wager to say truly the first next gen experience. While Battlefield 4 looks good, this is
it's beautiful.
this 60 frames a second, and it is really smooth.
I gotta be honest.
Smart move, like them putting the pause on, not releasing at launch.
I think so. Yeah.
And really just putting polish on something that's probably pretty close to being done. It could have been rushed for launch, but they were like, let's.
I mean, from the
Let's
beta,
make this good.
Yeah, from the beta,
it looks
this
Crysis
felt
3 good. at
really
60 frames on a console. I mean, that's the thing too. You get that nice console experience plus.
That's
pretty. Yeah, I mean, Crysis 3 was pretty. I mean, I gotta admit. So the fact that they could keep something like that graphically intense at 60 frames, and and the scope of it too. Like the levels look massive, even though you can't get to maybe all the places. The environments look really cool.
That's cool.
And you can reach a lot of places with that jetpack and whatnot.
Yes.
But yeah, it's one thing I sort of groan about is, do you want to do a tutorial? If I'm ever asked to do a tutorial, I'm like, nah, just put me in. This tutorial was actually fun to play.
Yeah,
and it taught you, like, it walked you through everything, and with how many things, like the pace of it, of the game when you're in it, I think you sort of need the tutorial if you haven't played a game that's quite this fast-paced before.
Right. Yep.
And it's not like it's... I mean, yes, it's a first-person shooter, so there's going to be some twitch elements to it, but it's more your movement that doesn't stop. If you're infantry, if you sit still, you're going to die very quickly. But if you're moving, you're going to be one of the more deadly opponents.
Yeah, I found that I died the most when I was like just kind of creeping or trying to stand still without using the cloak, even or peering out of a window and that kind of thing. Like you got to be real. You have to almost like kind of push yourself to move constantly, even when you don't want to. And that's the thing about the Titans too. You have you don't jump as a Titan, but you have a dash move, and you have like 2 bars of it that refill.
Sort of 2 energy banks.
2 energy banks, yeah. So you can like dash twice in one direction or dash one way and the other way, and that's a good way to dodge. So the mechs kind of have that lumbersome Mech Warrior 2 feel in some regards, like when they're just moving, but with the dash it feels a little bit kind of Japanese anime robot where you can dash yourself around or whatever. So it does have that kind of both the best of those worlds, I guess.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It feels very playable.
Yep.
So there's 3 Titans. You've only played with the one. Is there anything like? Have they announced any plans for DLCs or like what they're gonna do for when release happens?
I'm gonna guess they're gonna have a season or a premium.
That's my guess. It's a season pass.
But that's kind of the par for the course for most companies with multiplayer games, especially with something like this where they know it's lucrative that they could easily.
And it's just Titans, right? There's no like tanks or aircraft or anything like that.
So far, I haven't seen any other. I think it's just going to be Titans and infantry. I don't think there's supposed to be any other mobile, like Jeeps or LAVs or aircraft of any type. Although aircraft might make an interesting.
Yes,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
some sort of like transforming type.
Who knows? At this point, the Atlas didn't have any ability to jump, but we were theorizing that there's probably one that has
jump jets.
That can maybe use those 2 energy banks as you can dash, or maybe one can't dash. It can just hover. Or exactly.
It does feel good though.
One important thing is how the health system works for your Titan. So imagine sort of Halo-esque where you have health points and a shield that goes over top.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean that you don't take any damage until your shields are depleted. You take both hull damage and shield damage. It's just if you have no shields, you take a lot of hull damage. Right. So the longer you're out there, your Titan will succumb. You can't just sit out there indefinitely.
Was the shield, I didn't know if it was actually 3D rendered where the shield, if you got hit in a certain section and they kept shooting through that, if it would do more damage. I don't know if it had that or not.
Visually, when you were shooting another Titan,
you could see their shield flashing. So I don't know if that really means if I shoot in a certain area and keep shooting there, that's the key. So maybe if that's the case, then using your, like in the Mech Warrior way, using your ability to kind of slide around and show a side might help, but there's no like torso twisting.
That's an interesting point. I didn't even think about that. But when you shoot another Titan, or when you shoot it with anti-Titan weapons as infantry, because small arms basically does nothing.
I was going to ask what kind of weapons you guys had seen.
Mm-hmm. So there's actually it's an interesting question. So you have dumb weapons. Mm-hmm. So like what you would normally think of as a pistol, unguided, right? Dumb fire. So like RPGs and things like that, carbines.
Okay.
But there's also, like, the assassin class is the only one you can see that has this, at least at this point in the beta.
Okay.
But it's a pistol with a huge reticle. I mean, it's I'm gonna say half the screen.
Yep.
Really.
Yep.
The reticle.
It's like the smart
But
gun.
it needs. Right, it's like think Fifth Element, where it like
lock
locks on, and then you can
bullets.
point away, and the bullets will go to the target.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Yeah.
It's actually very effective too.
It's
You can get a lot.
incredibly effective. In one round against both players and against the creeps, or the, I don't know what they call them, grunts.
They're grunts, I guess,
Yeah,
is what
it's
they
fine.
call them.
It's
But yeah,
NPCs.
NPCs. Yeah,
In like 2 or 3
Spectres?
minutes, specters is what they call
yeah,
them.
specters and grunts.
I had like 17 kills with that.
Wow.
It's a pistol, but I mean,
Hedge your bets. It's the first thing nerfed.
It
Probably.
could be, but the thing is, if there's any sort of armor class, it takes longer to lock on, and you can't fire until it locks on.
Yeah,
there is no
it does
there is
have a
no
locking.
dumb fire with it.
Yeah,
Right.
So
there's-
you
there's a
have to be
trade-off.
stealthy. Like,
And you have to be able to survive long enough to get the lock.
and as an assassin, I think you have less armor too. Like,
You
you're
do.
definitely a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
So you have to use
Trying
that,
to be
that
half
cloak, and there is, yeah, if they're armored, you do have to shoot like all of it. You can lock onto like 5 players if they're low armor, and then hit them each one, with a shot and kill them. But if they're armored, it has to use all of those bullets to
On
try
one
and
target.
Yeah,
And it shoots 5 at a time.
It,
Yeah.
it shoots right. Your pistol will just go, and then
shoot
all
all
the
5
will
from
go
it.
to that
Yep.
player.
Gotcha.
Which isn't a guaranteed kill either.
No.
Because
No.
if they're like running, the bullets will kind of guide. But if they're like going into a doorway, it's possible that they hit the doorway.
yeah. Ryan had a good point. If you lock onto them, what you could do is lock onto them from behind cover, and then like as you're peeking out, and then shoot as you're behind cover, and the bullets will do that.
Brilliant.
That dumb fire kind of.
Yeah. Which is interesting because you don't. You get taken down a lot by a lot of the dumbfire weapons because you don't get any sort of notification that you're locked on. You know what I mean? Because like a carbine, if somebody's aiming a carbine at you, you get nothing, right? So some of that is still effective. The shotgun is incredibly effective.
Yes.
Probably that might
Get
get
nerfed. Yeah, I came in and I was just slaughtering with it. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah. So the
So standard array, like you like a pistol, like some sort of
Carbine.
like standard issue rifle thing, a shotgun,
and
rocket things. You were
Yeah,
saying.
you do
Sort of
have.
like
there's a
Titan weapon.
Anti-Titan weapon.
There are
Yep.
several different types of anti-Titan weapons. There's one that's like I'm gonna say like a plasma gun that you got to use during the tutorial.
Yeah.
It's like a plasma, think about the plasma turrets you rip off in Halo.
Halo. Yeah.
Sort of like that. And it's pretty effective, but not as effective as Nate was running with Assault class, and
Yep.
it had a lock-on.
Rocket launcher.
And it takes a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
2 or 3 seconds of looking dead at it for it to lock on.
You kind of have to catch them when they're working on
engaged
something
in something
else. Yeah,
but
that's
it's when it hit, it was like a third of their health.
Yep.
Yeah, it was big.
Yeah.
That brings up the other point. Aside from shields and health, they have an active shield. Some of them have like a on the end of their like a arm,
Yeah.
of the Titan's arm. It'll bring out a shield that just blocks everything.
Oh wow.
Another one has what do they call it? The vortex shield.
Yeah, where they hold out their hand and it like forms
Matrix
a little
style,
stops
collects
the
all
bullets.
the bullets and
Rockets
munitions
and
that come
shells
at
and all
it.
that.
And then when you release the vortex, they go out.
To defend against ranged threats, Titans can be equipped with the Vortex Shield. This weapon absorbs incoming ballistics for a limited time, then refires them. Well played.
So you use it as a weapon, basically.
That's cool.
Yeah,
so
it's
if you
very
see somebody-
strategic as far as like you see a Titan shooting, and as soon as you put your shield up to stop shooting, and that's when you reload or whatever. You try to like.
Yeah, and
then-
if he's using a vortex, like if he's using a vortex to absorb all your incoming, he can't keep doing that forever. So dash and get behind a building or something, because those are coming right back at you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's
awesome.
it's pretty engaging. I mean, 6 on 6, you are always doing something. It's surprising.
And we played. The only mode I played was
gonna ask what
attrition.
Okay.
There are 4 or 5 different modes.
And
you
I don't
can play
think
in the
they've
beta.
shown all of that you've had in the beta. I think there's going to be more.
Yeah, there were more
Yeah.
that were grayed out that we couldn't get to, but I think one works like Conquest.
Yep. Attrition's where you wear them out and then they got to leave, right?
Is deathmatch, yeah, deathmatch essentially, where you build up a certain number of points. Titans are worth more, players are worth
Yeah.
I see.
singles.
So, like as you progress with kills, it just keeps going up, and then the other.
Yep. And then at the end of the game is you get bonus points, even if if you lose the battle. There's like a retreat thing where either if you're on the losing side, you either retreat to this evacuation zone and you gotta basically stay there for like 30 seconds or so and wait for the ship to arrive and
Mass
jump
Effect
in
3.
right,
Yeah.
and jump in the ship.
And it's cool. They actually they show it like it's Halo. You get in and you take off, and then it
And the
jumps
guys are
away.
still coming at
And they're
you.
still coming at you, so you have to like.
Yeah. And if you die in that mode, there's no respawn.
Yeah.
If you die when it's evac, you just get to watch the end of the game.
It was really
So you
cool.
don't get the bonus points.
And you chase after them as a player. You know,
if you're on the winning side.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you can.
kinda cool.
There's also. I don't think we mentioned that when you bring the Titan down, you don't actually have to get in it. You can use it as a.
There's different modes, like stay here. You can sentry or turret mode.
Yeah, you can turn it into an AI.
Yeah, I heard that. I was reading that.
Another one
that
is
you
just
could call
follow.
That's
so
cool.
you're going into buildings and it's trying to stay as close to you as possible, but you're not there to defend it. So if somebody jumps on top of it,
You're
Nate did, and you're not watching it, your
Yeah.
Titan will just be lost. Now, when we talk about hull damage and shields and whatnot and how quickly he was able to take down a Titan, you're thinking, well, damn, you're gonna kind of run through your Titans pretty quickly. You get a Titan every 2 minutes.
Okay, your Titan will be ready in
So,
60
yeah.
seconds.
So if your Titan blows up, you get another one in another 2 minutes.
And you
So it's
respawn
quick.
like right away. The only
Kill
reason
cam,
not to
that's
do
it.
it is that you watch a kill cam if you
you can
want, but you can
see
skip
where
it.
you're
You can go bit and like go right in and jump
there's
right
no-
in.
Right, there's no like 5 seconds to respawn. It is
Instant.
really quick moving.
They want you always doing something.
Always playing.
Yep.
That's cool.
It keeps the action. It keeps that 6v6 feeling more like 12v12, or it has that feel because of that.
One good thing, I think, even though it's 6-on-6, there is no spotting. So, at least not that I saw.
Yeah,
There is no
interesting.
spotting, so it's not like once you're spotted, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So you can just, if you're getting too much fire, you cloak, run away, flank.
But you're
whatever.
always on the radar, though, aren't you?
If you fire like your smart pistol is silenced. Mm-hmm. So if you fire that, you don't show up on the radar.
Really? Okay, so it's only gunfire that makes you show up.
I believe so.
Yeah, I didn't get to test that enough, so I don't know what the radar mechanics are. I just noticed that I could see red dots, and I didn't know if that was if people saw other players or what it was.
Yeah.
That caused them to show up on the radar.
Do you know how long open beta is going to last?
Well, with it being only 2 or 3 weeks, at this point, I guess it would be 3 weeks,
Maybe,
4 weeks,
maybe.
until the game launches. I
Is it
don't
end
see
of
it-
March? Is that?
March 11th, I believe. We'll have to have somebody check that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But March 11th, I believe, is when Titanfall launches, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's a game I've been kind of excited for, but I wasn't sure how it would work out. I kind of had my reservations about it.
Yeah.
We talked about that in one of the past podcasts.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just holding off on the Xbox because I wasn't really that excited.
This
about
could
anything.
be the
yeah.
game.
That's
This is the
game that
one.
brings me.
Honestly, yeah,
It's what I think of that.
it has been it has been the best new
PC Master
multiplayer.
Race.
Hey, you can get Titanfall on PC.
I know.
But it has been the best new multiplayer experience. Like, I feel like it's got the most innovation behind it because multiplayer has been not stagnant, but everybody's been following the Call of Duty classes mold.
Yeah.
And it does have all that goodness of progression and all that stuff that you're going to have. But it throws in a lot of the great stuff from MOBAs. Like, you can tell it's grabbing all of that mixture of good multiplayer stew and brewing up you a new nice brew.
It does seem like maybe 5 or 6 years ago they figured out the what I'll call a modern first-person shooter formula, and sort of everybody's just been like, oh yeah, getting in on that. And this really does feel like the first unique experience in a while.
Yep.
It's like it reminds me a lot of a little bit faster-paced MechWarrior, really.
Yeah.
With with a ground game.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really good, and the levels are sort of high fidelity. They're really good looking levels. Sort of that, like he said, even though you can't go everywhere, you sort of get this expansiveness of the city that you're in, because it feels a little bit like when you landed on the beach in Halo and you get the first chance to sort of look around, and the world seems so much bigger than just the island you were on.
Right.
That's sort of what it feels like. Like you see this huge sprawling expanse around you that you probably can't get to, but man, it's really cool looking.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too, no doubt. All right, guys. Well, I think that's it for our Titanfall beta sort of sneak peek here. Maybe we'll get some video up here of us doing a run through. But be sure to stay tuned for perhaps another review when we actually get the game and take a look at in depth on what this game is doing. If you do like us, please head over to Facebook. That's facebook.com/fairlyawesomepodcast and give us the old like. Or if Twitter's your game, head over there at Fapcast and give us the follow. You can also subscribe on YouTube if you like these videos and want to see more. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.
Later. Yeah.
Titan is critically damaged. Combat veterans refer to this as Doom State.